Why y'all release her?
Because she wasn't doing what I was asking her to do. And I'm like, Jay, this is you. You said you're doing all this. I'm not doing this. And he didn't do it, so we had to drop her.
After years in silence, Amil, the First Lady of Roc-A-Fella, has finally broken her silence in what she reveals at 50. It's not just shocking, it's ugly. Once hailed as Jay-Z's protege and the face of Roc-A-Fella's female roster, Amil was everywhere in the late 90s and early 2000s, but just as fast as she rose, she vanished. No goodbye, no farewell album, just silence. For 2 decades, people asked, what happened to Amil? Now at 50, she's not just answering, she's exposing the truth. Her sudden return isn't about reclaiming fame, it's about setting the record straight, about the betrayal, the industry politics, and why she really walked away when her star was still rising. She's calling out names, and she's not sugarcoating a thing, but to understand how we got here, we need to rewind to the girl behind the name long before the diamonds, deals, and drama.
Hey, dog, where the hell is Amil? What happened to Amil, dog? What happened to Amil?
I don't know, man. Amil, she just disappeared, man. Like, one day Hov just say, oh, you'll never see her again, and I never did.
Long before the glitz of music videos and red carpets, Amil Whitehead lived a life few knew about and even fewer could survive. She was born into chaos. Both of her parents were absent, physically and emotionally. Her mother left when Amil was just 9 years old. She disappeared without warning, and Amil never got any closure. Her father was never part of the picture either. That kind of abandonment cuts deep. It wasn't just that she lost her parents, it was the feeling that she never wanted to begin with. With no real family structure, she was taken in by her aunt, but even then, the emotional damage was already done. She described feeling like an outsider even in spaces that were supposed to feel like home. That kind of rejection followed her like a shadow. She carried it through childhood, into her teens, and eventually into adulthood. That abandonment shaped everything: how she trusted people, how she viewed herself, and how she moved through relationships. When you grow up not feeling loved or seen, you begin to question your own worth. And that pain doesn't go away, it just hides behind your ambition. For Amil, music became her escape. But even in that world, the wounds were never fully healed, and just when she thought life couldn't get any harder, a new responsibility changed everything. At just 19, Amil became a mother. She had her first child with her boyfriend, Kendall Morgan, and although it was a moment that would later bring meaning to her life, at the time it was terrifying. She was still trying to find herself, still recovering from a broken past, and now she had someone else depending on her. She wasn't ready. She's admitted that herself. She didn't have a roadmap for motherhood, and with no real parental example to follow, every day felt like survival mode. Bills, diapers, late nights. She was living the reality of so many young women growing up too fast, forced to be strong when she barely had anything left to give. There was no glamour to it, no support system, just her trying to make something out of nothing. But in the middle of the struggle, she still held on to one thing: her love for music. But then came an unexpected twist, a chance encounter that would lead her into the world of hip-hop.
Now, Jay, a couple albums you were shouting out Amil, and then all of a sudden you stopped. What's going on with that? Is she still with y'all, or what's the deal?
Amil's no longer with the Roc.
What do you think, AJ?
What do you think? I'm just asking, dog. Yeah, nah, it's just like, thank you, Baker. What we do is a family thing, you know what I'm saying? It's not about selling records, it's not about nothing but family first, you know what I'm saying? And then,
All right.
It's real.
So everybody's looking for a girl on the Roc. Are you looking for a new girl for the Roc?
Come on over.
Free be spitting too, I heard.
Yeah, come on over.
Woo!
Come on
Don't
over.
tempt me.
Free been doing for a while.
Don't tempt me.
Free been spitting for a while.
Free and free, look at that.
That would be nice. We're going to talk about that at the break, y'all. We come back.
We'll be back with more 106
More
Park,
countdown,
y'all.
more Roc.
Yeah, be right back.
Before the fame, before the Roc chain, Amil started small, forming a rap group called Major Coins with her friends Liz and Monique. It was local hustle, basement studios, and pure passion. That group was her first real taste of what music could be. But the real turning point came when she caught the attention of Jay-Z. Her big break came with the track Hey Poppy, where she appeared alongside Jay-Z and Memphis Bleek. That moment got people's attention, but it was Can I Get A that changed everything. She quickly became a staple in the Roc-A-Fella camp. Guest verses, magazine spreads, award shows, she was everywhere. And with Jay-Z backing her, it looked like the sky was the limit. She had a solo album, All Money Is Legal, and the machine behind her was strong. But behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they looked. Suddenly, Amil was Roc-A-Fella's princess. But even fairy tales come with a dark side. At first, Jay-Z was her biggest supporter. He saw potential in Amil and helped her write many of her early verses. He respected her tone, her presence, and the way she could hold her own in a male-dominated space. He guided her musically and made sure she had a spot on key records. But behind closed doors, not everyone was sold on her. Dame Dash, Roc-A-Fella's other co-founder, didn't see the same value in Amil. Over time, he began to feel that she wasn't delivering enough return for the investment being made. In his eyes, she was becoming more of a burden than an asset. That caused friction, both creatively and personally. Jay-Z started to pull back. She wasn't getting the same energy, the same push, the calls got less frequent, the features slowed down. Amil could feel the shift happening in real time, but no one said it directly. She was being phased out. But the whispers in the industry grew louder, and soon those whispers turned into full-blown rumors.
How she was not willing to participate in demonic rituals and then just the after parties, the activities they wanted her to participate in. She joined Roc-A-Fella Records. It was only for the intent to make music, okay? So she's admitting that's why she left Roc-A-Fella Records, because she was not willing to participate.
As Amil's presence grew on Roc-A-Fella, so did the rumors. One of the biggest ones, that she was involved in a secret relationship with Jay-Z. People in the industry started whispering about a possible affair, suggesting that Amil's rise wasn't just about talent. That gossip created serious tension within the label. Things got even messier when rumors started flying that Amil was pregnant with a married man's baby. Many believed that man was Jay-Z. Amil denied it, but once that kind of talk spreads, it's hard to undo the damage. The rumor wasn't just personal, it made people look at her differently. Instead of being respected for her skills, people started focusing on her relationships and personal life. Foxy Brown wasn't quiet about her feelings either. Foxy felt like she had been replaced. That added another layer of tension, not just between them, but among the label's artists as a whole. The drama wasn't just coming from the outside, it was building inside the house. And Amil was stuck in the middle. Her relationships with other Roc-A-Fella artists began to shift. Jealousy, egos, and false assumptions created distance. It didn't matter that she had talent or that she showed up for every verse. People had already decided who she was based on gossip. And while the gossip swirled, Amil stayed focused on her music. But Roc-A-Fella had other plans. In 2000, Amil dropped her debut album, All Money Is Legal. It had big names behind it: Jay-Z, Beyonce, Carl Thomas, and some of the best producers in the game. But when it hit the market, it didn't perform like people expected. The numbers were low, the response was lukewarm. In the industry, that's enough to shift how people treat you. But what hurt even more was how she found out she was being dropped. Nobody from Roc-A-Fella told her directly. She heard it through the radio. Just imagine that, turning on the radio and hearing you're no longer part of the label you helped represent. To make it worse, people started mocking her appearance. Amil had gained weight, and rather than show support or concern, folks in the label started body shaming her. The same people who once hyped her up now acted like she never existed.
I think what happened was at one time, I was telling her that I had got her a trainer, and she was saying that the only way she would go to the trainer, so I got her an apartment, and I was like, and Jay had supposedly was A&Ring that or executive producing that, and I had a Roc-A-Fella deal on Sony. I was doing unprecedented shit. Roc-A-Fella was on Elektra, Roc-A-Fella was on Sony, and Roc-A-Fella was on Universal. I had Roc-A-Fella everywhere. But homie did I was like, Jay, if you ain't gonna take care of this and you ain't gonna deal with it, I'm not taking one of your children. You said you was gonna do this and he didn't. Or he did, but he wasn't dealing with the bad shit. Like, I'm not gonna be arguing with no girl. And it was Streets girl. So at the time, like, I ain't gonna be arguing with Streets girl all day. So y'all deal with it or she's out of here. And no one wanted to deal with it, so she was out of here.
Okay.
But no disrespect to her, she was cool. We had fun.
Wrestle breaks.
Years later, Amil finally broke her silence, and what she shared gave new context to everything. She admitted she simply wasn't ready. Not for the fame, not for the pressure, not for the lifestyle that came with being signed to a powerhouse like Roc-A-Fella. The music industry moved fast, and Amil was still trying to catch her breath. She also had more important things on her mind. Her child had developed asthma, and being a mom came first. She didn't want to be in the spotlight when her kid needed her the most. Fame felt empty when her child's health was at risk. Looking back, she said she regretted signing a major deal, not because she didn't want success, but because it pulled her away from the music she loved. She liked writing her own stuff, she enjoyed being underground where she had creative freedom and didn't feel like a product. For Amil, music wasn't about hits or fame. It was personal, and when that part got lost, she started pulling away. But what about Jay-Z? Did he ever reach out again? After things fell apart, Amil tried to reach Jay-Z. Not to argue, not to beg, just to talk. But every time she reached out, she only got as far as his assistant. Jay never responded directly. No conversation, no closure, just silence. As Roc-A-Fella celebrated anniversaries, released documentaries, and held concerts that honored their legacy, Amil was left out. No invite, no mention. It was like she had been erased from their history. And that kind of exclusion, it wasn't just business. It felt personal. Amil wasn't asking for handouts or praise. She just wanted acknowledgement. She was there during the early days. She put in the work. And now, it felt like she had been intentionally written out of the story she helped build. Yet even after all the betrayal, Amil didn't speak until now. Now, at 50, Amil shared that she did feel used, like she was brought in to fill a role, then tossed aside when she didn't fit into the next phase of Roc-A-Fella's vision. One minute she was the first lady, the next she was invisible. No support, no conversation, no closure, just silence. Amil also opened up about how the music industry crushed her spirit. It wasn't just the business moves or the dropped album, it was the emotional toll, the manipulation, the body shaming, the pressure to always be on even when she was falling apart inside. She was dealing with motherhood, health scares with her child, and her own mental health, all while trying to keep up with the industry machine. She said for years she held back, she stayed quiet, not because she didn't want to tell her side, but because she wanted to protect people, even the ones who hurt her. But now, she's done protecting others at her own expense. She's speaking for herself, not to get revenge, not to drag anyone, but because it's her truth. A person commented saying, "I always wondered what happened to Amil. It's heartbreaking to know she was going through all that behind the scenes. The industry is cold." Another one added, "I remember bumping her songs on repeat. Never knew she got done like this. She deserved better. Much respect for speaking her truth now." If Amil's story moved you, drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Do you think Roc-A-Fella did her dirty, or was she just not ready for the game? See you in the next video.